Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Viridius back with a Hytale news update. Those of you that are following this game probably know by now that the developers dropped a new blog post last Friday all about life in Zone 1 where new players will start in adventure mode. The surface features of this post are both interesting and exciting on their own, but I'd like to take a closer look at the details and see what information we might be able to glean from what the developers have shared with us. Now, the first thing the blog post shows us is the grizzly bear. And to me, this animal is the most interesting and revealing feature of the update. The developers tell us it is very territorial, it's dangerous, but it will only become hostile if you encroach on its territory or refuse to get out of the way. If it does become hostile, it will chase you, but not beyond the confines of its territory. The reason I find this so interesting is that it challenges the notion that Hytale's mobs will fit neatly into hostile, neutral, and friendly categories, like we see in Minecraft. It seems that Hypixel is taking a more nuanced approach, and we might find that with a lot of mobs, whether they are hostile and dangerous, or friendly and helpful, depends on how we and other characters are interacting with them. This might not come as a surprise to everyone, since it is consistent with what the developers have implied before, but I think a lot of us are still filling in the blanks of this game with stuff we know about Minecraft, and it's worth taking a second look at places where the game might deviate in ways that haven't been explicitly stated before. If mobs are indeed not going to fit neatly into a binary hostile, non-hostile system, then I think we can be pretty certain that the light levels are not going to be the primary factor in what causes hostile mobs to spawn. At the moment, we have more questions than answers about mob spawning in general, but I personally think that anything akin to the massive mob farms and XP grinders players make in Minecraft might be a whole lot more complicated with Hytale's mechanics, assuming they are even possible, and they might not be. The next thing the blog post shows us is examples of ambient life. The post puts frogs, ducks, and sparrows into this category, and explains that these creatures are designed to give Hytale's world, Orbis, a sense of life and interactivity. They don't pose a threat, and it's not clear if they are going to have any real uses from a gameplay perspective, but they enhance the environment. With the sparrows, the post also highlights how mobs in this game might interact with each other. It mentions that the Trorks don't like sparrows and will throw their spears at them. This kind of interactivity could go a long way towards making the game feel more coherent and alive. One thing that fascinates me here is how excited the community, myself included, is for this ambient life. Especially when you consider how much Mojang has been criticized for the uselessness of polar bears and bats. I think there are two reasons for this. First, Mojang rolled out the polar bears as a large part of a major update, and they didn't change the game much. And second, Minecraft has comparatively few mobs, so we naturally want all of them to enhance gameplay. With Hytale, the developers are giving us so much gameplay alongside these little touches that we don't feel like they've prioritized things poorly. And there are so many mobs that I think it would be a detriment to the game if they all had unique uses. Nobody wants to memorize that many mechanics. The next section of the blog showed us 4 more creatures: deer, rats, bats, and a pigeon, without giving us any details about them. All of them look well designed and atmospheric, but there is more to talk about with the deer. It's been pointed out by the YouTuber IBXToyCat that this image seems to be showing both male and female deer, as evidenced by the antlers on only 2 of them. This suggests that creatures in Hytale will not be genderless like they are in Minecraft. Now that raises a lot of questions about how breeding and farming is going to work. Most likely we will need both a male and a female to breed animals, but beyond even that, there's no real reason to suggest that we can automatically get animals to breed by feeding them like we do in Minecraft. With the nuanced take on life that Hytale seems to be going for, I actually think it's more likely that farming will be handled by providing the animals with an environment where they can survive and be happy and just letting them do their thing. A notion supported by the developers saying in their NPC blog a few months back that understanding animal behavior is very important if you want to hunt them. If that's the case, I expect that the automated farming people do in Minecraft will be more difficult to do in Hytale, but traditional farming will be more interesting and engaging. It's an interesting potential trade-off that I'd love to hear your thoughts on in the comments below. For the final part of the blog post, the developers were respectful enough to warn arachnophobes that they were going to be showing a spider in motion. so I will provide the same warning. If you don't want to see the Hytale spider or the spider from the game Limbo I'll be using as a visual aid, now's your chance to leave the video. If you're still here, let's talk about that spider, because I'm only mildly uncomfortable with spiders, and that thing creeped me out just a bit. Obviously the spider's model is as cartoonish as everything else in this game, but the animations on this spider are creepier to me than any spider animations I've seen since the horrifying nightmare fuel that was the spider from Limbo. Maybe it's just that we rarely actually see spiders in video games crawling up walls correctly, but either way, good job, Hypixel. At first glance, I do see this as just another monster to fight, especially considering we know from Noxie's interview with the Game Gurus that the Void Spider will be a boss in the game. But looking back at that Grizzly Bear, I do hope they take a more nuanced approach again. In real life, spiders are ambush predators, so it would be interesting if the areas where spiders live were filled with web-based traps that the player could fall into or avoid, and the spiders aren't that aggressive if you avoid them. And who knows, maybe under certain circumstances the spiders could be useful for something. Either way, that's pretty much all I have for today. Now I want to hear from you. Did I miss any details, or do you think I'm reading too much into the ones I showcased? And which creature are you most excited for? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please click like. And if you want to see more Hytale news coverage and discussions from me, click subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified when I next upload. But for now, this is Viridius, and I'll see you next time.